What's up, Sooner fans? Welcome back to the Sooner Surge. If you have not subscribed to the channel, we would ask that you would do that. Appreciate all those who are subscribed. Here today, signed, sealed, and delivered out of California. Uh, elite offensive lineman, 6'3", 320, Eugene Brooks, Hunter. A guy that I would say in the grand scheme of this offensive line class that's coming in, it's a doozy. It is a really, really good offensive line group. Eugene Brooks may be the least talked about of them all, and he may end up being maybe one of the best ones. I really like Eugene Brooks. I like what he brings there in the size at 6'3", 320 as a high school kid. Also a dual sport athlete. Throws shot and disc as well. So I think OU is getting a tremendous offensive line prospect, and Bill Beatenbow is, I'm sure, stoked about this one.
Yeah, the Sooners may not have landed the massive names in the class and the two top players at their position, Casey Poe, Grant Bricks, but the offensive line class as a whole is really, really good. It's arguably the best they've had in I don't know how long. Like that's saying something. Like overall, as a whole, Eugene Brooks, when he committed, he was a 3-star composite rankings. Since then, he's been bumped to a 247 on just their rankings, not composite, their rankings alone. They rank him as the 5th ranked interior offensive lineman in the country. They're really big on him. I think they value him as the highest rated commit at OU on the offensive line. So really big for him. And also just with the loss of Caden Green now, that interior offensive line, who's going to step up? A whole lot of no experience, a lot of young guys, and they're continuing to add more and more, making that room even more competitive. When you got guys like coming in on the interior of Eugene Brooks, who committed to OU over Texas back in July. Then you also have Eddie Pierre-Louis on the other side. So just massive get for Bill Beatenbow, massive get for the Sooners. And man, 320 already in high school. That's that will do. That will do. I'll make it a lot easier for him to hit the weight room with Schmitty.
Yeah, and across the board, all across the front, the O line is huge. You got guys well over 6 foot, well over 300 pounds coming into the program. Guys that are going to be able to have the ability, the potential to play early on because of that. They've set themselves up there in a good position as far as size wise. And one thing to note, I think, Hunter, is when you're dealing with rankings, you mentioned how he started at 3. They moved him to a 4. He's also ranked as the top O lineman on this in this group. You know, it's very hard to tell, but as far as rankings, but they don't just sit there and lightly give someone star ratings. So for them to make the decision to move him to a 4 and to rank him as the best, I think says a lot. That obviously they've seen a lot in his game.
Yeah, the ranking system for those who don't know uh, is composed of really a little amount of film. Most of it has to do with camps. It's a lot harder to move up the rankings, especially in this late period. Like you're going from start of the season till now. Like any sort of movement, that means you're impressing a lot of people because at that point they've been scouting these recruits for so long that I mean you're kind of starting to get your list and you're solidifying it. There's not going to be much more movement, and so for Eugene Brooks to kind of get more recognition enough from the other sites as well. That's what the composite ranking is. It's all of the sites kind of combined into one metric to value off of. It's a good way to see it because it's so many more scouts than just one site's opinions on the guy. So 247 has been massive on him from the get-go. Like I said, if you're looking at their just pure player ratings, he is the highest rated committed offensive lineman at OU, now signed offensive lineman. So that's a big deal. And then to take them away from Texas, I mean, that's something you have to talk about. Look at the offensive line they're putting together there. They've had a lot of success, especially OU's been on the other end a lot over the past 2, 3, 4 years against Texas. It seems like pretty much every time there's a big 4-star, 5-star offensive lineman, interior, exterior, it's Oklahoma, Texas. Texas is winning that battle. Looking at the game in Dallas every year, the past few years, there's been at least one to multiple on that offensive line that chose Texas over OU. So again, that's a get that matters, especially when you look at this kind of momentum surge the Longhorns are on the recruiting trail over the past week.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. You land a recruit over Texas, it's a win. I don't care what position, uh, whatever it is. But the other thing about Eugene Brooks, I think, and again, this is coming from my perspective. I've been around track athletes. I know shot and disc. There's many offensive linemen playing on Sundays right now who threw shot and disc. And the one thing that both of those events do for linemen is it increases their skills and their footwork. Uh, you're on your feet, you're spinning, your balance is tested. There's a whole lot that shot and disc can help in the line. And to me, he's got an advantage over some guys who did not do that because of that. You can't take that lightly. There has been research. There's many guys in the league that credit their footwork skills to nothing other than shot and disc because of the movements that are required and the muscles that are used in that. So I think that's also huge for Eugene Brooks to be coming off of that. And I think he's great on run blocking. They had a lot of yards rushing, and he can do both because of the skills that he has on his feet.
Yeah, you're kind of seeing a theme with Bill Bedenbaugh. Seems like all these offensive linemen he's landing, they're playing another sport. And it's usually wrestling or track and field, shot and discus. They're throwing. That matters. I mean, stuff like that. You're just learning, you're putting yourself at an advantage, wrestling, especially, if you ask me, just the amount of footwork. And you mentioned it with shot and disc, like amount of footwork you learn, like that translates to offensive line. So that's big deal as well. And again, versatility. He can also play tackle. He's being recruited as an interior offensive lineman, but he's played tackle throughout high school as well. So injuries happen. It sucks. You have to have somebody step up. He's a guy that could step up. I mean, we saw it this past year with Caden Green. He was originally a tackle in the spring, and then all of a sudden Coach B goes to him and says, I need you to play guard. He moved to guard. Like it happens, offensive line. You're not necessarily stuck. If you are stuck at one position, that's putting you at a disadvantage because sometimes opportunities at that position are not there. So the more positions you can play, the better off you're going to be for the NFL and for your future at OU.
Early enrollee or no?
I would have to check back. I believe so.
Yeah, I think he is. Yeah, that's what I was curious on. But all we do know is he's signed, he's sealed, he's delivered. He's Eugene Brooks from California, 6'3", 320, interior offensive lineman in a class that really is Bedenbaugh's best class that he's put together. And excited to see him on the field probably sooner rather than later. Eugene Brooks, a Sooner. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for watching this. Till next time, Boomer.